We are Baltimore. We are South.
There's no place like home, and after dropping 3 straight to the Marlins in Miami, the Braves are happy to get back to Atlanta for 9 straight games here at Turner Field. Tonight, all eyes focus on the return of Mike Minor to the mound. Plus, we have a homecoming of sorts. Our pal and current Giant Tim Hudson returns, and he'll talk with us about his season by the Bay. It's Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports South. It's the Braves and Giants. Game 1 next. Can't think of a better way to kick off a beautiful weekend in Atlanta than a matchup of 2 first-place teams. And that's what's in store for us tonight here at Turner Field, where all your long Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Tonight we get our first look at the leaders of the West. The San Francisco Giants come to town. They lead the Dodgers by a half game. The Braves, with a game-and-a-half lead over the Nationals, are atop the Eastern pile. Hi again, friends. Chip Carey along with John Smoltz and Joe Simpson. Good to be back in Atlanta. Let's put that Marlins series behind us, for there is some good news tonight. Mike Minor joins the Braves starting rotation. He makes his season debut. And partner, we know how good the Braves pitching has been. That rotation's getting a little bit crowded, isn't it?
It is, and it's hard to find a place to squeeze people in. But we already know from Mike Minor that David Hale had been sent to the bullpen, and today they optioned Gus Schlosser back to AAA. So Mike will make his first start of the year, and it's our first look at him since last season when he pitched so well in the postseason. Mike had a great year last year. He won 13 ball games and really came into his own. But John, for a guy coming into the season a month later, is that a little more pressure when you know that everybody else has been pitching pretty well?
Well, there's no doubt there's pressure, and the real thing you got to look for tonight is the emotional check plate, because physically he's going to be ready to pitch here. It's the emotions that run rampant sometimes, because I don't care how many games you've started, you want to check in on the ball club. You want to contribute. So for Mike Minor, can he stay patient? Can he stay calm? And if he can do that, he'll return to last year's basic dominance that he had late in last year.
He'll be facing off with Tim Lincecum, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner who's fallen on some tough times the last couple of seasons for the Giants. Atlanta fans hope that those troubles continue tonight here at Turner Field. It's a beautiful night for baseball. The Braves and Giants ready to tip things off, and we'll get to our first pitch right after this. since last October, as he takes the mound for the first time in 2014 for the Braves this evening. He'll face off with the San Francisco Giants on a perfect Friday night for baseball. And Friday Night Baseball on Fox Sports South is brought to you by our friends at Blimpie. I thought, John, you made a terrific point about Mike Minor, the emotions of not only pitching for the first time, but having to face off with a real good ball club. The Giants are in first place. They are anchored by Michael Morse in the middle of their Toyota starting nine, and they've had a topsy-turvy run offensively, but right now swinging the bats pretty well.
Well, they are, and this will be the first team that he actually uses video to scout. In the AAA, I don't think you care too much about what the other guy's doing. You're just trying to get healthy. So for Mike Minor, again, can he stay on playing with his fastball, throw his changeup, breaking bits? I want to see what kind of touch he has, and that's always the first start jitters, and then once he gets past that, he'll be fine.
Do you gauge anything at all from Mike Minor's rehab assignments?
No, that's the most misleading thing. I think you try things, you're just trying to get in spring training shape, you're trying to get ready for the ball club, and sometimes you can focus too much on that. So I don't put a lot of stock in what those AAA hitters do, because quite frankly, you don't even know what those guys can do. And in the big leagues, it's more cut and dry, Joe. You know the big league hitters, and you know how their tendencies are.
And his 4 keys to pitching success include just what you're talking about, John. Number 1, control his emotions. Take a deep breath once in a while, and I would like to see him establish his fastball. You said something about his touch. Is he going to have some finesse tonight? We'll find out right away, but one easy way to pitch around that is to set up that fastball and use it, establish it early.
Giants come in winners of 6 of their last 7 ball games. They're a much improved team from last year when they suffered through a 76 and 86 season. The Giants didn't hit many home runs last year. That's not the case now. They've hit 32 of them, make that 34 of them as a club. That's the second most in the National League. And they'll get started with Angel Pagan, who's off to a roasting hot start. 340 is Pagan's average. And Minor's first pitch is down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. 69 degrees with the wind blowing across the field from left to right tonight. And a high fly ball belted deep left by Pagan. Upton will turn and wave goodbye, and the Giants are back to their home run hitting ways. A leadoff blast makes it 1-0.
Well, this will definitely test the emotions and patience of a pitcher. I know we're not talking about 300 starts for Mike Minor, but these are things that you have to go through and you'll develop as a pitcher. I mean, it'll wake up your system real quick, but you have to stay with the process. This is a process. I know it's his first start. Everyone wants him to do well, looking to see how he does.
This is Hunter Pence, and he strokes one into center. Back-to-back hits for the Giants to begin the game, and Hunter Pence with a 10-game hitting streak now.
I know you said that it doesn't make any difference, the numbers that he had in his rehab assignments, but in his head, the last start he made, he gave up 10 hits, 4 of which were home runs. First batter, home run. Second batter, line drive single. I don't know if there's some carryover from that. Worried about how that might have carried over or not for Mike.
Now he's got a tangle with Buster Posey, who's playing first base for San Francisco tonight. The Georgia native takes a called strike.
Well, there's no doubt you prefer to be dominant all the time, to have statistical categories in your favor, but you'll learn over time as you develop as a pitcher, whether it's spring training, rehab starts. It's stuff you'll learn to deal with once you get back to the big leagues. Because you're right. I mean, statistics, no matter what level you are at, you don't want to give up 4 home runs. I don't care what park you're in. But I think for Mike Minor, the way everything started out this year slow and then hampered a little bit by some soreness, it'll take him 3 to 5 starts to actually get back in the grind. But this is the guy you have to count on as a left-hander in the rotation.
Fly ball center right at Upton, and BJ's there to make the play. And there's the first out of the ball game. Posey lines to center.
You know, I know this is not a fair comparison nor the same comparison, but of all the innings that I pitched and all the games that I pitched, when I made the transformation to come back from closing to starting, I was a nervous wreck. I gave up 8 runs in an inning and 2/3. And everyone thought, oh my gosh. I mean, you just get too amped up sometimes, and sometimes you can't control it until you get into a couple games. But
I remember those two first games. First game as a closer, 8 runs, 2/3 of an inning. First game as a starter after 5 years, 8 runs in an inning and 2/3.
Michael Morse swings at the first pitch and hits it high in the air to right. That's playable for Hayward. And on the warning track, he puts that away for the second out.
You're going to see a lot of first pitch swinging from the Giants, and they're very successful at it. Very high batting average on the first pitch.
Yeah, they're first in all of baseball, Joe, at a 398 clip on the first of the National League as well. First pitch when they put it in play, 398. That's speaks to your point. Also remember that first start of Buddy driving 3 hours to come see me pitch, and he didn't get his money's worth. He saw about 25 minutes worth.
Here's Sandoval. If there has been a mystery man offensively for the Giants this year, it would be the Kung Fu Panda. He has not had a good start. Sandoval hitting .177 this year with a couple of homers, only 6 driven in. The Giants had an amazing stat on him in their notes today. Sandoval has come to the plate with 64 runners on base so far this season. He's knocked in 4 of them.
Yeah, he's really expanding the zone. Watching him from afar, getting a lot of strikeouts. Anxious contract year, I believe.
Yep.
And he's really tried to do a little bit too much. He's a bad ball hitter, but when you expand the zone, you give the pitcher that many more options to get you out. This is a perfect example. 0-2. They don't have to throw him a strike for the next 2 pitches.
He only has 1 hit all year with 2 strikes. And that continues. It was a bad ball, and Sandoval missed it badly. And Minor allows a leadoff homer, a single, and that is all to the Giants. 1-0 San Francisco after a half inning. Where the Braves are 9-3 at Turner Field so far. Here's Freddie Gonzalez's Toyota starting 9. A couple of changes at the bottom of the order. First things first, let's congratulate Chris Johnson, a new 3-year contract announced today by the Braves, and he had a good outing last night in Miami. The changes: Ramiro Pena in at second for Dan Uggla struggles mightily against Tim Lincecum, and Gerald Laird will catch Mike Minor tonight.
Well, for Tim Lincecum, if you're going to get him, you got to get him early. He's had trouble in the first inning, 375 clip. Of course, he's off to a slow start. And the one thing about Tim, I mean, everybody's talking about, you know, what has happened the last couple of years. When you're talking about 2008, 9, and 10, pretty filthy numbers. And I think the biggest thing you'll see is going to be more of an off-speed pitcher. He's going to go to that split, curveball, and slider. Fastball's become more of a show pitch. He'll still strike you out.
Hayward goes the other way and continues his good work at the plate.
You know what, when you're Joe, when you're a hitter and you lose that edge or you lose that fear of a pitcher and his fastball and separation, it just gives you more confidence. And I think that's the one thing when you're facing Tim Lincecum, you're not afraid of the fastball beating you, so you can maybe sit on more pitches. And that's the one thing I've noticed. Again, he's striking out more than 9 a game, but it's how he's trying to do it. It's different. That velocity doesn't have that late life. He's had to learn how to pitch with different type stuff.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, stretch it out. He's the only pitcher for the Giants that has not pitched beyond the 6th inning, and left-handed hitters. He's giving up a batting average of .333 overall, but a left-hander already has a single off of him, and they came in hitting .353 against him.
Read something about Lincecum in the offseason about the point you guys are making. He doesn't have the big fastball that he used to, and so he is relying on contact to get outs. But as Lincecum said, he's hoping to get lousy contact to get those outs.
Didn't you feel, though, when he won the 2 Cy Young awards and was really going great guns, that, I mean, as good as the fastball was, it set up his changeup beautifully. He had such a good change with all that motion that he showed everybody. It's
no
hard
doubt.
to pick up.
Pop fly foul by B.J. Upton. 0-2 to him.
When you have 4 pitches and they're 4 weapons like they were, you can't sit on anything. You can't eliminate anything. And it's like a split finger type changeup that goes straight down. So it complemented the fastball that would hold his plane. He sometimes looks like he throws uphill because he has to use his body. He truly is the freak because he's not supposed to do what he has done at his size or weight. And so now he's having to generate every ounce of energy to get the ball where he wants to. And it just hasn't worked early on in the season. That's why that opponent's batting average is so high.
That's a cue shot foul in front of the Braves dugout for B.J. Upton. He's riding a 5-game hitting streak for the Braves.
You know, when you look at signs, you look at stats, they can be misleading, but I look at trends and certain things that Tim Lincecum has done that makes you a little concerned about not only the contract he signed, 15 2-strike hits. Now, this is a guy with 2 strikes that can put you away. It's 15 is a team high for him. And it just speaks again to guys who are just a little bit too comfortable. You know, digging up to those Cy Young years. I mean, he still, you know, he struck out 265, 261, and 231 in 3 consecutive years.
Hayward, a good lead at first. A ball and 2 strikes. Drawing to throw at first.
He wasn't giving up 2-strike hits then. .29 now. 5'11", 170.
Runner goes, got a good jump, and Upton skies 1 to center. Pagan will drift in a couple of steps, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. So Upton's retired. Here's Freddie Freeman. It's been a rough week for Freeman, who has 1 hit in his last 20 at bats. Joe West called that a strike. It's 0-1 for Freeman.
He's just glad that that doesn't say Miami on the front of their jerseys. I think Freddie will get back on track here at home.
That one all the way to the backstop. No chance for Sanchez. And Hayward moves up 90 feet, and a hit could tie the game for the Braves.
This is a
pitch.
Crossfire. You see him trying to go away, and he pulls his fastball. Again, mechanically, he coils and uses and turns his back almost to the hitter to create that type of velocity, and that time he just came through a little bit too fast.
Little tapper hit toward third. Sandoval's got it, and a throw to first in time. Hayward to third. Now 2 outs for Justin Upton. We all know how deadly Upton's bat has been in Atlanta at the start of this season. Braves tonight begin a stretch of 9 games over 10 days here at Turner Field. That should mean even better things for the Braves left fielder.
Yeah, you'd think that he was first guy on the plane to get back here last night.
Upton 8 homers, 18 RBIs overall this year.
I'd say he likes hitting at home.
Yeah.
He's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. Look at these numbers.
Tops in Major League Baseball in all of these categories. Slugging 1,000. That's pretty good. He's faced Tim Lincecum more than anyone from their battles in the National League West when Justin was with the Diamondbacks. He's faced him 49 times.
Interesting trends in this game. The Braves are the worst team in the National League with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Unfortunately, Lincecum's not too good with 2 outs. He's given up his share of runs. You find that runners in scoring position from a team, you get on fire like the Cardinals were last year. It seemed like everybody drove in runs, but those 2 out RBIs with runners in scoring position for a pitcher's a backbreaker, for a team, for an offense, it's like a bonus. And that's one area that the Braves, amongst some other things, have to get a little bit better.
No question.
They're hitting 132 as a club in this particular situation. 2 balls and a strike. That's fouled off the catcher's mask. He had a very good cut. Now 2-2.
A couple of fastballs, like you said, John, that Justin was just kind of waiting on. I mean, he was letting the ball travel, fought him off, almost like he was looking for a breaking ball and fought off the fastball. That doesn't happen very often.
I always look for variances in the quadrants of the strike zone. Unless you're a guy like Sandoval who's going bad, you could throw an up and down 7 feet difference and he might swing. Great hitters who are locked in, you can't do that. The fastball was up and then he threw a curveball. It was a shorter curveball that never got to the plate, didn't entice the hitter. You got to make it look like a pitch that's, if he is fighting off the fastball, that he can't swing at.
And Upton takes a walk with 2 outs. Lincecum will face Chris Johnson.
In other words, I'm of the belief, I'd be interested to hear what you've got to say, Joe. I'm of the belief that the batter only remembers where the last pitch location was. In other words, if it's a low fastball away, he remembers that. So the slider away low will be more looking like a fastball. If it's a fastball up and then it's a curveball down, I think that's too great of a variance.
Yeah.
And the hitter's eyes can recognize that. And that's where Tim has to be a little bit better with his off-speed pitches. He's got to make them look like a fastball.
That one dropped in at 90 miles an hour for Chris Johnson.
Chris had a good night last night. 3 hits and a walk. Got his swing back, keeping his hands inside the baseball. I don't think Sanchez behind the plate is out of the woods yet this inning. Not that particular pitch that he just threw, but there have been a couple of others where he almost looked crossed up, and maybe he wasn't because he never went out to talk to him. But Lincecum's missing so badly with his location.
Swing and a miss. Upton will move up 90 feet. And the Braves have runners second and third now with a 1-2 count.
See, there was a good example of what I was talking about. The first pitch might have been low, but he got called a strike. So that curveball was low, but it started at the height of the fastball. And Chris Johnson was attacking at it, I'm sure, unless he was sitting on breaking ball. That is the depth difference you need in your pitches off of a fastball.
Ground ball to short. Crawford boots it. He's got a strong arm though, and made up for the drop to retire Johnson and the Braves in the first. The Braves threatened but failed to tie the game. 1-0 San Francisco after 1.
tremendous amount of respect for Chipper Jones and what he's done in this organization in this uniform. So, but for me, I really tried to focus on what Chris Johnson could do, go out there and just try to be the best player I could be, because I don't know many players that are going to be able to fill the shoes of a guy like Chipper Jones and what he's done for this organization.
What a difference a year makes for Chris Johnson. When he came over to start the season last year, he was battling Juan Francisco for the starting spot at third base to take over for Chipper Jones. This afternoon, he walked into Frank Wren's office with his agent, inked an extension to his deal. He'll now be in a Braves uniform through 2017 or 2018 with the club option. Guys, the first phone call he made to his mom. She bawled. Then the second to his dad, the manager at AAA Norfolk. He was excited, pumped up, said go get him, and that's Chris's outlook from here on out.
Thank you, Tom. And congratulations to Chris. And Dave O'Brien of the AJC had an interesting note earlier today with the signing of Chris Johnson. The Braves have committed $304 million to 6 players since February in new contracts and or contract extensions. So the core of this team is going to be together for quite some time. It's pretty remarkable in and of itself. 1 ball, 1 strike for Hector Sanchez, the catcher tonight. Buster Posey's their #1 catcher, but when this guy plays, he's been productive. 11 RBIs in only 39 plate appearances. Ground ball short. Simmons will gobble it up. 1 down.
Not only is that a wonderful thing for these young players here in Atlanta and for the fans, and attractive from a planning standpoint for the organization, but should the time arise where the Braves need to make a deal or want to make a deal, they got a host of guys that are already signed, locked up, so other teams, that becomes very attractive to them too.
Here's a former Brave, Brandon Hicks. Remember him? Brandon's off to a nice start with the Giants. Marco Scutaro was supposed to be their #1 guy. He's had bad back problems. Joaquin Arias hasn't been able to hang on to the second base job, so by default Hicks has gotten a chance. And guys, he's hit 5 home runs for them this year.
Brandon's always had power. He's always struck out a lot. 24 strikeouts this year and 61 at bats, but a strong guy.
And that one's rifled toward third, and Johnson couldn't catch that. So Hicks is aboard with 1 out in the San Francisco second.
Part of the reason the Giants are aggressive, we talked about the stats on first pitch, but as a team they're dead last with 2-strike approach, 2-strike batting average, and the Braves happen to be the best as a pitching staff with 2 strikes. So, I'm not saying that's the only way they're going to get hits is to swing early, but their chances of when they get with 2 strikes at this point in the season haven't been as successful based on that average.
So one of the better managers in the game, Bruce Bochy, with the Giants.
Brandon Crawford is the Giants shortstop, a left-hand hitter who has dramatically improved his luck this year against left-handed pitching. Last season he hit .199 against lefties. He's batting .429 against them so far this season.
And that always puzzles me because his right-handed split's not very good, and you would think that would be the seeing more right-handers, but maybe because he's made such a concerted effort and worked at it so hard that he's staying in there longer against left-handers, and it's showing average-wise, but 170 against right-handers.
That tied him up inside. A ball and 2 strikes.
He showed you a really good arm to get Chris Johnson to end the inning. This guy is another National League shortstop who can really pick it. We don't get to see him play that much out west, but he's a good one.
Brandon went to UCLA, majored in physiological science. Went to Foothill High School in Pleasanton, California. And and was a 4th-round pick by the Giants back in 2008. Back to the screen, still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What was his overall average last year?
248.
Yeah, I think one of the things they were trying to get him to do, Hensley Mullins, is his hitting instructor, and gathering a lot of respect around baseball for his efforts as the hitting coach. But that just like Crawford, not to think about home runs quite so much, get his average up there.
Base hit to left between Simmons and Johnson. So Crawford goes the other way. Nice approach, lefty versus lefty. And that'll bring up Tim Lincecum. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, a fastball that he goes away and it's up, it allows the hitter to actually stay on it as long as he does and hit it the other way. I'm sure he may have thought that an off speed was coming there and was able to stay up on the pitch and hit it the other way. The ball down, it's a little bit more difficult to do that.
A ball to Lincecum, who has struck out 4 times but has 3 sacrifices this year.
It's kind of funny, isn't it, that Tim Lincecum no longer has long hair, but every other guy on his team does. I mean, Pagan, Morse, Hicks, Crawford.
And he gets the bunt down. 1 play, it's to first, and Pena's able to hold the bag. Lincecum's 4th sacrifice puts Hicks at 3rd, Crawford at 2nd. Don't know if Tim's middle name is Samson, but since the haircut, he hasn't been nearly as successful on the mound.
Might have something there.
Well, sorry I had to abstain from any time you start talking about hair. I really can't be saying much. So,
like I can.
So the sacrifice has the Giants in business with 2 outs. Here's Pagan.
It's a great situation early on for Mike Minor. He knows the guy swung at the first pitch. He knows he's been giving up a couple hits. It's this situation right here, base open, 2nd and 3rd, that touch is what I was talking about. Can you go to that touch pitch? He's wanting to establish his fastball like all pitchers do. But here's where you've got to be able to make those kind of pitches.
One of your questions was touch and feel for Minor. Here he is in his 2nd inning. Do you feel or have any sense of his feel at this point?
Not yet, because we haven't seen enough breaking balls. I know his changeup, he's thrown a couple of them. But see, that's the pitch right there. That allows him to not only take the hitter off of his fastball, but then the hitter doesn't have to be, he's not quite as aggressive. Because if the hitter knows right away, if a pitcher, what he's trying to do, they all know he's coming, this is his first start. And I'm sure they talked about, let's attack him. Let's attack him early.
Did he go? No. And Pagan was shaking his head no as he checked his swing.
A lot of that has to do with not letting him get comfortable, John. If he breezes through the first couple of innings, gets his feet under him, and his curveball's feeling good, his changeup's feeling good, Giants might be in for a long night because he's got some confidence and ready to roll. But if they are aggressive and put him on the defensive in his first start, might be a tough night for Mike. Good pitch.
Made 2 of them in the sequence to that spot to Pagan. And now it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Now he could go right back to the back foot curveball if he wants. He's thrown 2 changeups that were taken for strikes. Fastball in to give him that respect. I know you had a home run, but I'm going to bury one in. Now he has options with that base open. I like that a veteran catcher's catching him because your mind races a little bit. You know, you don't think of situations as typically you would when you're in an every 5-day rotation and you're feeling like you're part of the team from the beginning.
Well, that was fortunate. Gerald Laird called for a fastball up, see if he would chase up out of the zone, and that ball was right off the top of the ground. Gerald's fortunate this didn't get all the way through.
That's an example, I guess, of the touch and the feel not being there. He missed his spot by 2 feet.
Yeah, that always is a tough pitch anyways when your room for error is too great, I believe. My thought is if you naturally throw enough fastballs up there, that's one thing. Mike Minor makes his living down, and to ask him to go up, unless you're you're doing that down there, and I don't know that he was working on that. That's a tough room to go to, because your chances of error are, that ball's going to go a long way if you miss about 4 inches down.
Tom Glavine has said that to us many times, that you're so conditioned to keeping the ball down, it's just not easy to elevate it.
2 on, 2 out for the Giants. Full count pitch to Angel Pagan. And it's popped up. Will it stay in play for Freeman? Freddie will give chase, but he'll not have a play. Ball's on top of the Braves dugout foul.
It's funny, early in my career, besides trying to figure out how to pitch, I threw enough of those by accident, you know, and it was effective. I didn't have to go in much because I could go up and down pretty regularly. And for Mike Minor, changeup guys, you don't see many changeup guys be able to elevate the ball up consistently. Again, I'd love to see him bounce that curveball 3-2. He's gotten him to foul off some fastballs. It's a great opportunity for an aggressive count for a hitter who wants to drive the runs in, to swing over the top of it.
Strike 3 called. Pagan will argue with Joe West. Joe West is in no mood to hear Pagan complain. Go back that way, he says. And that's what he'll do as the Giants strand a pair in inning number 2. First 2 innings, but they've scored but once against Mike Minor. And the Braves are up in the second inning, down 1-0. Time for our cold hard facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It is a different Tim Lincecum these last couple of years.
That's pretty significant when you think about 2 Cy Youngs and the world at his fingertips. I'll tell you this, I got to give him credit, because he went through a horrific stretch, but he was a vital part of their World Series winning team by going to the bullpen.
Yeah, that was great.
And I know they were concerned about whether or not they were going to sign him this offseason. They did, to a 2-year deal, so everything must have checked out in their eyes.
He did a whale of a job for them in their run to the world title a couple of years ago, out of the pen, and was willing to do it.
Little pop into shallow right. Pence is coming on. He's not going to get there. Hicks as well made a terrific try. And it's Brandon Hicks who fields the ball and hustles it back to Crawford. It's a blue pit for Andrelton Simmons to start the Braves second.
Change up just in the inside third of the plate. Andrelton kind of on the pitch before just kind of leaned into a fastball that was inside, like he was looking for off-speed stuff. Just fought that one off, and will take it.
The Braves have their second hit, and Ramiro Pena gets a chance. His 6th start of the year for the Braves, but his first as the starting second baseman. Freddie Gonzalez went to look at the matchups for this series with the Giants. I'm sure he saw Dan Uggla 0 for 13 in his career against Tim Lincecum. So a chance to rest Dan and see if Pena can do something at the plate. And that caught a corner inside, and now Ramiro looks back at Joe West. Strike one.
You know, Tim Lincecum, you don't hear him say much. Unfortunately, you've heard his dad say a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And, you know, when it's going good and the perfection of the mechanics and all the moving parts and everything else, become pretty sensitive to the criticism of the last couple of years about what his son, as most fathers would, but in the game, you know, I think Tim's handled it about as well as you can.
Yeah, that's a hard thing. For any athlete to have a parent do a lot of the talking for you. That's not what you want to have to deal with, and you've got enough issues.
I remember just doing an interview for a radio station in San Francisco, and I really was complimenting Tim Lincecum on really what he had accomplished. But I explained his mechanics similar to this. The first thing that came to mind was, look, a helicopter and a jet engine, the jet plane, both fly. But a helicopter has a lot more moving parts. It gets to point A, point B. A jet just seems more conventional. And that's, I compared him more to like a helicopter. Look, he's the freak. He gets it done. But at some point when you struggle, what do people do? They go to your mechanics.
Yeah.
They go, that's the reason. He can't sustain it. There's a lot of moving parts.
Pena, a little pop behind third. Long run out there by Michael Morse, and he will get there in fair territory. Morse, who's not known for his range, ran a long way to catch that fly ball off the bat of Ramiro Pena, and that's out number one.
So did you hear some?
Oh yeah,
feedback?
He took exception to it. You know what radio stations will do? They'll play the bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't critical. Nothing in it was critical, but he sure jumped all over me. And you know, compared my first few years to his first few years, and it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, being so sensitive, you know, back up a little bit. And really, I'm just making an explanation of how each pitcher does what they have to do to be successful. And he is unique. And I'm sure since he was 7 years old or however he started throwing with his dad, they've worked on this forever.
Simmons is running. Laird swings and fouls one away. The Braves have tried to hit and run a couple of times already tonight. And that's out of play for a strike. I mean this with no disrespect whatsoever. Would you teach your son these mechanics?
No. But
they work for him.
They work for him, just like you wouldn't teach some batting stances. You know, they work for the individual. The key for every pitcher is once you get to your balanced position, how do you post up? How do you deliver the best pitch you can with the most power and the most behind it? He does it uniquely. 170 pounds or whatever he is, he threw pound for pound as hard as anybody we've ever seen. Pedro Martinez comes to mind. He was the other freak, you know, freakish talent.
No balls and a strike for Gerald Laird. Simmons a lead at first. 1-0 Giants on a Pagan leadoff homer. Mike Minor starting for the first time this season for the Braves. He's given up 4 hits in his first 2 innings of work.
The one thing I am a little surprised over the course of his career, and I don't know the numbers, is if why more guys don't try to steal on him. He does take a little bit longer to get to the plate with.
That one bounces away, but not far enough for Simmons to advance.
He's got to turn coil, legs got to go up, his arm goes straight down. You know, he's done a great job. Greg Maddox better than anybody in the history of the game. He could just, you could steal second and third and he'd keep you there.
Yeah.
You know, very few people can do that. The more stress you can put on a pitcher and the more you can create opportunities. It's why his ERA, I'm sure, besides the hits he's given up, those are the things he was so good at before. He eliminated it all.
Fly ball to right. Pence is over. 2 outs. And now Mike Minor will bat for the first time. Mike is a career 111 hitter.
Had a good year last year, though. Hit that home run you see there last season, a 164 average.
Line drive to right. Pence is not afraid to throw to first, so you'd better hustle if you hit it sharply that way, and Minor did. And the Braves have him first and second with 2 outs, and back we go to the top of the order.
That a way to start the season. Just jump in there and swing at the first pitch you see, get a fastball belt high, don't miss it, and line it to right field. And you can see Mike busting it out of the box. He knew he hit that hard enough that there might be a play.
And trust me, getting thrown out twice from right field is not a lot of fun. And I can tell you from Mr. Glenn Davis in right field in Houston. But 2 outs is the perfect situation. As a pitcher, most of the times you want to bunt, right? You want to help yourself, you want to bunt. But with 2 outs, it's your chance for bonus time. Because if you can get the leadoff hitter up to the plate in that inning, that means you've done a great job. And that's what he did. He picked on the first pitch. And now it's a bonus time, bonus inning for the Braves.
And Hayward pops it up. Brandon Hicks at second, now in a couple of steps. He's there, and that retires the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Through 2, Giants by 1. Before the game's first pitch, Tim Hudson is back in town, and a lot of warm greetings with his old teammates. Brave skipper Freddie Gonzalez with a hug and a welcome, and we'd give you a hug if we could, but we'll have to settle for the welcome right now. Tim, welcome back.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, it's great to see you.
Do you know which clubhouse to go to?
You know, it's funny you say that. I had to call Ben Acree on the way up here and ask him where the visitors parking lot was. I don't know where to go.
No parking pass, nothing, huh?
You know, they pulled some strings for me.
Well, we were really hoping to see you pitch here in Atlanta, and I read all the quotes about what you had to say about coming back to Turner Field. In your heart of hearts, are you glad you're not pitching in this series?
Yeah. You know, it would have been a little crazy, a little weird. You know, obviously it's nice to come back. It's nice to come back here and not have to work. You know, be able to enjoy it, see everybody, and you know, watch the baseball for a couple of days and get ready for my next start in Pittsburgh.
So how's it gone so far? You're you started your career in the Bay Area. How much different is it in San Francisco than Oakland?
You know what? It's nice. It's nice. Obviously, you know, Oakland was great for me for 5.5 years, but it's been nice being over in San Francisco. You know, the guys are really awesome. It's an easy group to get along with. You know, great manager, really great organization, and you know, San Francisco is a great city. You know, as an opponent coming in there, it's always fun to go in there and play, and you know, have a great crowd, and you know, great pitchers park. So, it's been a great transition. Obviously, I miss everybody here, and it was 9 awesome years here in Atlanta. I'll always thank them for that. But it's nice to be with a new team and meet some new teammates and start another chapter in my career.
Pence flies out to Simmons at short. Here's Buster Posey, and he jumps on the first pitch and skies it away, foul for a strike.
Huddy, you've come back from so much. Words like perseverance obviously echo. But what was it like this time coming back from an ankle different than your shoulder or elbow?
Well, it was obviously a little different. I'm no spring chicken. Obviously I'm 38, and it was a tough deal. Obviously, I felt like I could come back. It was one of those things where it wasn't arm related, so you had confidence in my arm. I was pitching pretty well at the time, and my arm felt healthy. But at the same time, it's your drive leg, and you never know about how things are going to heal up for you. And I felt pretty early on after my surgery, probably 2 or 3 months after surgery, that I felt like it was something I was going to be able to get over. And being that it wasn't my arm, I felt all the confidence in the world to be able to come back and get back to hopefully the level that I was before I got hurt.
Well, I'd say you've done that and an awful lot more. You look at your numbers to start the year: 4-1 in 6 starts, and only a couple of walks, Tim.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I mean, come on. Pena to first, gets Posey, 2 outs.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't ask for a better start to the year. It's been great to get off to a good start with a new team, with some new teammates. Obviously it's something that hopefully I can keep going. Obviously, realistically, it'd be hard to say I can keep this pace up for the rest of the year. But as long as I can go out there and give us a really good chance to win every time out, pound the strike zone, and just go out there and prove to myself and a lot of other people that after this injury I can still come back and pitch at a high level.
Well, you just answered my question, I think.
Michael Morse drives one into right, a 2-out single for him.
I was just curious if the way you're pitching right now, if you're pitching with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to prove to people that you still had something left.
I don't know if you can call it a chip. I think it's just, I've always been a guy that I've always loved challenges. I've always been a guy that's, I've had to prove myself at every level. And when things kind of, start feeling like, maybe you can or can't do it, we don't really know. Those are the moments that with any competitor, you feel like you want to turn that intensity level up and be like, I can show you that I can, and not only to you, but to myself and everybody. And, I just feel like that's something that has made me tick my whole career. And, I feel like it's something that's definitely got me going in the right direction this year. And, I'm just thrilled that I'm back out there competing. Obviously, as a competitor and as a big league pitcher, you want to be able to go out there and do things on your own terms and go out on your own terms. And, last year when I got hurt and had to be wheeled off the field, that was definitely not the way that I wanted, the last time I was in the big leagues to end. So it was definitely something that, that I was determined to get back and not only get back, but get back at a high level.
Huddy, I know you couldn't go to 2 different extremes, from heat to cool, from short grass to long grass. You got to be loving that long grass in San Francisco.
You know what? It's a great place to pitch. There's no question about it. It's nice, cool weather, great park. It's been a blessing for me. Obviously, I love my time here in Atlanta. There's no question about it. Smoltz, this is one of the best places to ever, have an opportunity to pitch. And but at the same time, it's been great to be able to go there and hopefully keep my career going.
Tim, can you stick around for another half inning?
Yeah,
we'd
sure.
love to talk to you when the Braves are up in the home half of the third inning. Good ball game. Great to see the smiling face of Tim Hudson with the Giants in town. They lead 1-0. Tim Hudson's kind enough to join us from the Giants dugout. Tim, we're showing the fans at home some video. We should say happy anniversary of sorts. April 30th of last year, career win number 200 against the Washington Nationals. And we're showing you at home the best part of that night. That was the home run you hit over Harper's glove in right field. You remember that?
Absolutely. How could I forget? That's that Oppo pop.
Well, I was just looking at your offensive numbers. That's a tough park to hit in San Francisco, right?
It is. It is. But you know,
Okay.
it's
a long year.
Gotta bring the guns out. You know,
Okay.
It's kind of hard to sit it to McCovey Cove when you're right-handed, but I'll try.
Now, we were talking earlier, we don't see the Giants very often as a National League Eastern Division team. Now that you're with the Giants and around them every day, what has been the most surprising thing about the Giants club now as a teammate instead of as an opponent?
You know, it's hard to say anything that's surprising. You know, it's obviously when you come to a new organization, you have to get to know a lot of people, a lot of new faces. You know, over in Atlanta for 9 years, I'd have to maybe get to know 1 or 2 new free agents a year.
Right.
You know, now I'm the new guy now, so coming over here, it's I have to get to know all my new teammates, all the new coaching staff, front office people, the clubbies. So, you know, it was a little bit of a whirlwind in spring training, getting to know everybody and trying to fit in as much as I can. But you know what? It's a super bunch of guys over here. You know, all the guys are awesome. And I think that's the one thing that's really been refreshing coming over here is, you know, you never know what you're going to get when you come to a new team. But all the guys are really cool. There's not a bad guy in the bunch, and it's been great to work with Bochy and Rigetti and all the new coaches over here. So, you know, it's new. It's kind of it's definitely weird. It's something I'm not used to, being the new guy, but it's been really cool to come over here and get to know everybody and see how things work with a different organization.
You've mentioned Bruce Bochy a couple of times, and you had the good fortune to play for both Bobby Cox and Freddie Gonzalez. Compare Bochy's style to theirs.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, obviously Freddie, you know, he's still fairly young in his managing career, and you know, Bochy's been around for a while. You know, Bochy's a guy that, you know, he's similar to Bobby Cox. You know, he just has that, you know, that calming aura about him. You know, instills confidence in his players. You know, I think he's one of those guys that, you know, obviously you go out there and bust your butt for, but at the same time, you understand that there's not a lot of pressure. You know, that he don't put a lot of added pressure on you. He knows that you're going to go out there and try your best, and you know, he asks you to go out there and give your best. And you know, it's very comforting to come to the field every day and know that your manager's going to have all the confidence in the world in you, and you know, not get too tight when things start going a little, you know, the wrong direction.
This is Justin Upton, and he takes a strike. Tim, we've talked a lot about what you've done on the field. I think one of the things that I miss the most about you and your beautiful wife, Kim, and your wonderful family is all the great things you did for our fans and Braves country off the field with the Hudson Family Foundation. I assume you're continuing those efforts in San Francisco?
Yeah, you know, obviously we still have our foundation here in, you know, in the Georgia and Alabama, you know, by state. You know, obviously going out there out west, you know, those things aren't going to change at all. We still do what we do within Georgia and Alabama, and you know, obviously going back out to the Bay Area, there's some things out there that we want to get back and, you know, plugged into out there in the Bay Area from the first time we was there. But yeah, I mean, that's something that we've always taken a lot of pride in, and you know, Kim and the kids they're coming up tonight. They're not here for the game yet. Kate has a baseball game today, and but they're coming up tonight, and they'll be here tomorrow and Sunday. So they're really excited. And you know, tomorrow is Tessa's birthday, so she's had that marked on the calendar for a while now.
Well, we've had this marked on our calendar a long time too, Tim. We appreciate you, we miss you, and we wish you nothing but the best with the Giants class act. And you're always welcome on our air whenever you and Braves hook up.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's great being here.
Good to have you. Tim Hudson in the Giants dugout. Great visit with him as we move along to inning number 4 in Atlanta. through 3 innings in Atlanta tonight. All season long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day. Joe Simpson, John Smoltz, Tom Hart, Chip Carey from the TED tonight. Braves kicking off a 9-game homestand. It's played out over 10 days. The Giants, Cardinals, and Cubs are coming to town. Hector Sanchez is the Giants catcher tonight. And he's quickly behind Mike Minor. No balls and a strike. 2 very hard hit balls against Minor in the first inning. Back-to-back hits. Angel Pagan led off with a homer. Mike has scattered 4 singles after that leadoff blast, which is the game's only run. That's headed for the seats foul. It's 1-2. That's down the left field line. Can Upton get there? No, play it on a hop. And Sanchez with a single on a 1-2 count leads off the Giants' 4th.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad pitch. That was unfortunate for Mike because he put it where he wanted it. It was not a strike, and he just one-handed it, fought it off, kept it fair.
Brandon Hicks, the batter. And he takes a strike.
Where Mike Minor has evolved into a top line starter is when that pitch stopped cutting. That changeup that everyone wanted to just right away put him with Tom Glavine, you know, fastball changeup. Look, he throws harder than Tom Glavine did. Tom Glavine had one of the greatest changeups in the game, and his stubbornness allowed him to not give in to the hitter, which made him a 300-game winner. But I think that his fastball not cutting and his fastball staying on plane, the evolution of his fastball got better and better as time went on. That's why he was so tough last year down the stretch.
I thought he was as good as anybody in the National League last year, the last month.
No doubt. He didn't get any runs, really.
Yeah.
You know, the luck factor was short in that category.
Well, it's easy to forget Mike Minor's led this team in innings the last 2 years for the Braves. And his debut in 2014 comes against the Giants tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brandon Hicks, an original 3rd-round pick of the Braves in 2007. Oakland claimed him off waivers in March of 2012. Went to the Mets at the end of the 2012 season. Played at AAA most of the year. And then the Giants got him as a minor league free agent. And he'll have a seat as Minor strikes him out. Hicks didn't like that call, and the Giants are grumbling at Joe West tonight.
Look where Joe West sets up. Look where the catcher sets up. And you're going to get an inch or two based on where the umpire sets up. I always think that there's an area that each umpire is a little bit lenient to. And you've already had a couple guys complain. So great job by the veteran catcher picking the spots that give you the most room off the plate.
So much is being made about the pace of the game nowadays. As Brandon Crawford fouls one away. So much money has been spent, so many man hours or woman hours have been spent trying to figure out how to speed up the pace of the game. Wouldn't a play like that one that we just saw from Joe West go a long way toward it and let the umpire hunt for strikes?
Yes, but here's my solution to that, and I know it's going to sound biased from a pitching standpoint. I don't think you'll have hitters complain up and down as much as in and out. When you widen the plate, it's tougher for hitters to be successful. There used to be a time and age where that belt-high fastball was what they told you to crush. Now it's a ball and guys are staying away from it. So I really believe to help the game, they've hurt the umpires with this Questec. They've put them in a box trying to make them all call the standard strike zone. But the actual rule strike rule book strike zone has never been called. So just get up and down a little bit more, and you don't have to worry about in and out. You'll have more guys challenge hitters. You'll have more guys, and the game will be better. I really believe it.
1-2 pitch is downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In talking to fans, you almost never hear a fan complain about the time of game. People in the media complain about the time of game because it affects their deadlines and the like. But the fact of the matter is, 3-hour games, 3.5-hour games, I would guess, are really problematic for this generation of people. With the instantaneous information society we have, it is working at cross purposes for the growth of the sport, don't you think?
Well, John's right. For a hitter, up and down, you'll be able to adjust and make some get some hits up and down. In and out, especially out that you can't reach, that are called strikes, that's a different story.
Ground ball to first. Freeman will step on the bag. He'll fire to second in time for the double play. Tough to outrun the baseball when Freddie Freeman turns it loose. The Braves turn 2 in the 4th and trail 1-0.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T.
Giants by a run as the Braves come up for their turn in the home 4th inning. This is indeed Braves country. This is indeed trivia time. John, Joe, and I need a little help. Scuffling a bit on the road trip in Miami. Our AT&T U-verse trivia question is: name the only current National League right-handed pitcher with more career strikeouts and a lower career ERA than Tim Lincecum.
Well, only one.
One ball, no strikes for Chris Johnson.
I'm going to have to go with the guy we had on the interview. Tim Hudson. He's got to have more strikeouts and a lower ERA, right?
Right. Yes.
Now, it's not cheating if we look at Lincecum's strikeout and
I know his career ERA has gone way up.
Career ERA numbers, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let me do that for us. That'll help us narrow it down a bit. Hang on a second.
He got his 1,000th strikeout not too long ago.
Fly ball to left. Morse near the line, near the fence. He's going to have plenty of room to make the play. There's out number 1. Coming into this season, Tim Lincecum had 1,510 strikeouts and a 3.46 ERA. And 89 wins.
His current ERA is 3.51. 1,537 strikeouts coming into the game tonight.
Oh. I was not thinking about just National League wins, but I'm going to stick with my answer just because.
Well, Hudson had 113 plus what he's got with the Giants. So that might be a real good guess.
Sticking with it.
No balls and a strike for Simmons.
You know, I used to think I was indecisive.
Until.
I'm just not sure.
Oh, and 2.
I forgot the but now. But now, I'm not so sure.
That's into the seats. Braves have got to get the bats going. Scored 4 times in Miami last night. 3 runs in game 2 of that series. Nothing against Fernandez. 1 run against the Reds and Johnny Cueto in the wrap up of our last homestand. So runs have been awfully tough to come by.
And that's the thing people don't really understand about a baseball season. You can run into a couple hot pitchers and it can be a carryover effect of a slump, because let's face it, those 2 guys can throw some bullets at you that, unless they're off, they're going to put you in a funk. And unfortunately for the teams in this division, you look at the Miami Marlins and you're concentrating on 1 guy, and maybe now 2.
They were talking about this down in Miami, John, about they were trying to figure out why are the Marlins hitting so well at home and not on the road. And Jeff Baker, one of their veterans they signed over the wintertime, he said, hey, you know, hang on a second. We just were in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We were just in New York. And those 2 teams alone can fire some really good pitchers at you every night. So let's not hang it all on the fact that the Marlins aren't hitting and scoring on the road, but the fact that they're running into some good pitching. Well, all they did was exacerbate that discussion by just pounding out 9 runs each in the first 2 games against Atlanta in Miami.
Well, it might surprise casual fans of the game. Colorado leads the National League in hitting as a team. That's not a surprise. The team that's got the 2nd best batting average, look there. The Marlins at 267. 20 points better than the league average. As Simmons didn't get an inside fastball and he's down on strikes. That's 3 strikeouts for Lincecum.
And a rare strikeout for Andrelton.
His 4th in 100 plate appearances.
And you know, for the Marlins, it doesn't stop there. 2nd in runs, 2nd in on base percentage, 2nd in runners in scoring position average. I mean, it's really, you could have given me 15 to 20 guesses and I would not have said the Marlins. So credit to them.
And they're winning again tonight. Jared Saltalamacchia has hit a homer for them. They're beating the Dodgers 2-0. If the Dodgers appear a step or 2 slow tonight, you'd understand why. They had a doubleheader in Minnesota last night. The 2nd game went to extra innings. Then they had to fly north to south and got to Miami about 6:30 this morning. So a long day for the Dodgers. It's gotten longer for them so far this evening.
I just came from New York and did a game with the Mariners and the Yankees. You want to talk about, you know this, Joe, but you want to talk about travel. All you got to do is talk to Seattle.
Yeah. Little pop, shallow right, and Pence is going to get there, and that'll retire the side.
I listened to some of that game, and there was one section of the game I could make out what was going on.
time on a lovely night in Atlanta. 1-0 Giants on an Angel Pagan leadoff homer in the first. Mike Minor settling in. He's gotten some help from his defense. Atlanta turned a double play to end the fourth. And now Mike will start with his opposing pitcher, Tim Lincecum. Ball, 1 strike. Braves thrilled to have Mike Minor back in the rotation, as Joe mentioned during our opening comments. To make room for Mike on the roster, Gus Schlosser was sent down to AAA Gwinnett. And it's looking more and more like the Braves will have to make another decision come Sunday. For Gavin Floyd will be activated. But Freddie Gonzalez has not said what role Gavin Floyd will take on this team. The rotation appears awfully crowded as it stands. Floyd has said he would prefer to start. So we'll have to wait and see what the Braves decide to do. 3-2 pitch, and Lincecum is down swinging. Minor has his 4th strikeout in the game. Hope you'll join us here tomorrow night. We invite you to take part in the Braves and Giants, and then after the game, the Kool and the Gang post-game concert is presented by Coca-Cola and Delta. Post-game concert is free, and you won't want to miss it. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show for just $20. Go to Braves.com/concerts today.
And again, talking to Tim before the ball game, he was fired up to find out that Kool and the Gang were going to be here because they're one of his favorite groups.
Tim Hudson from Alabama. Okay, I believe you.
Here's Pagan.
Spent 5 years in Oakland, you know.
Oh, that's right.
Ground ball to third. Chris has it. And back to first in plenty of time. 2 up and 2 men down.
No, we understand you. I was teasing you when we went to break, but you got to make your play-by-play debut on the MLB Network, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of a unique situation where, you know, my man Bob Costas had to go, and he left. And
wasn't a pink eye thing?
No, it was. He had to go to the bathroom, and he basically asked me how my play-by-play skills were, and I didn't know what he was going to do. I said, yeah, I think they're okay, and dropped the mic and said, here you go.
Well, Joe and I were thinking about the same thing. So
when nature calls.
So I promptly called you guys and said, you're in good hands if something happens where got to take over at the wheel.
Well, I really appreciate you offering me a 55-gallon drum of water before the game started.
The beauty about this business is all the things that we all get to hear that nobody else gets to hear via the truck, the producers.
Right.
And all that has to go on to producing a game is amazing.
To short, where Simmons handles and takes care of Hunter Pence. Minor is settling in. We'll get to some of those things, I'm sure, when the Braves come up next in the home half of the 5th. South is brought to you by Blimpie. Giants and Braves game 1 this weekend. It's San Francisco 1, Atlanta 0.
It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. You guys gonna have to explain to me how that works, because I don't know anything about Twitter. I don't know how to tweet, but I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, they tweet their pictures to us and then we pick one.
Okay.
Post it.
The hashtag thing's important.
We like to say post instead of just putting it up there.
That's one of those technical terms the truck tells us before the start of every game. Now, you were saying,
yeah, it was
a learning curve for your play-by-play stuff.
It had to be pandemonium in the truck because they didn't anticipate this, they didn't see it coming, and this is my first time. So I just basically ignored a lot of the instructions to not talk. But no, it was fun. It was. We have a booth camera, and I'm in there. I got 2 thumbs up. I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's. The only thing I didn't do is go into my inner Vince Scully and talk about the next day starting pitchers and all the different things that he does by himself. But I made it. I made it through, and
I hope you started with a hello again, everybody.
Believe me, it was a lot of fun to hear the bantering back and forth of what to do.
I thought when you said I ignored the call to not talk so much, I thought you were going to say like my dad would.
I decided to ignore everything the producer told me.
Just go and do what you want, right?
Yeah. Well, it's fun to have those. It's fun to have those conversations where you tell your producer what you're going to do if the moment ever happens, but yeah, didn't actually push him to his limits.
Big ratings bump?
I'm thinking maybe. It went right to. What's the website that everybody goes to?
That's Chip. He's got 1 million of them.
Yeah. What's the?
Oh, wait, what?
Deadspin. It went right to Deadspin. Instantaneously, technology, right to Deadspin.
Yeah. You've been on Deadspin a lot in your brief broadcasting career.
Well, and what I was going to say is, I obviously never take myself seriously, which is the reason why I can laugh at all the mistakes I'm going to make. I use words that absolutely have no meaning whatsoever, but pull it off. Glavin knows I have a language of my own, and that's okay, But I just like to have fun, and that half inning, was a lot of fun.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
What I would like for you to do now, is come to the ballpark and teach the Braves pitchers how to bunt.
It's bad, pal.
It is. It's not over 2014, but if it weren't for Julio Teheran, it'd be pretty close.
Yeah, that's one thing. You run out of excuses for pitchers. That's really all they should be doing in spring training, is working on that trade, and it's a lost art, but more than likely it really comes down to a simple fundamental flaw that when you're bunting, you've got to use that bat as your eye. It's got to be still. You can't be reaching, and it's really the only way to help win yourself a ball game. You're not going to win yourself a baseball game too many times with swinging the bat.
Yeah, Alex Wood can answer that comment. And here we are in a 1-0 game. Minor not able to advance Laird. Now Hayward hits with a runner at first and 1 out.
There were 2 things I prided myself as a pitcher. 1, you weren't going to bunt on me. And 2, I was going to get the bunt down more times than not. Matter of fact, I put pressure on myself to where I just picked out a random coach. I said, I'm buying you dinner every time I don't get a bunt down. Because that's what you have to do. You take your pride and ego, stick it away, and you make that bunt be part of your game.
Ground ball under the glove of Hickson into right field, and Laird will stop at second base.
We've seen this happen so many times in recent days, like a leadoff double. Can't get him over. The next guy hits a deep fly ball that would have scored him. Here with the bunt, base hit, would have scored him.
And it's reflected in the way the Braves are scoring. We've talked a lot about how Atlanta is so dependent upon the home run. To put that in perspective, 13 of the last 17 runs the Braves have scored have come as a result of a home run.
Yeah, and that's a tough formula. We talk about percentage of runs via the home run, and we've well documented that's where the Braves get a majority of their runs. And the 3-run homer seems nice and it feels great, but you're not going to get that many of them.
Upton and takes high. 1 ball, no strikes.
And we showed that graphic earlier tonight about the Giants and their ability to hit with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. 1 out here. We've talked about the Braves' inability to hit with runners in scoring position, and another opportunity.
Fly ball, shallow center. Pagan is going to make the catch, and he's there for out number 2. Now, if Laird couldn't have scored on that single, had the bunt been laid down, probably would have been able to score on that play, or at least would have had a shot. So now it's up to Freeman with 2 outs, 2 on in a 1-0 game, and there's that number we were talking about.
And what happens from a pitcher standpoint, you take that stress off. So now there's a runner on first, 1 out. You pitch differently to a hitter than you would if there's a runner on second, and vice versa with the runner on third. So you look at those scenarios, and it does affect the pitch selections of how you're going to attack a hitter. That's why the more pressure you can put on a pitcher, the easier it is for the hitters behind them to hit, because you got to make stress pitches all the time.
Well, I don't care if Freddie Freeman is 1 for his last 22 and 0 for his last 14. I like him up there in this situation. Last year he was like the Cardinals, came through virtually every time he had an opportunity. He's battling some frustration right now, but still want him up there with guys on base.
Last year, Freddie hit .443 with runners in scoring position. He had 45 2-out RBIs.
Goodness.
To me, you can't do that without an approach. I don't care, you know, there's a lot of great hitters, but his approach with runners in scoring position, his ability to have that short, compact swing, to not always go for the downs, that's how you drive those many runs in. That's how you hit with that average. That's what makes a pitcher's nightmare.
He's battling his eyes right now, guys. Just before that last pitch, he was right. Well, he's doing it again, and then he would look out at Lincecum, and looks like he's trying to get some moisture in there by squinting and by closing his eyes tightly to try to get some moisture in there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Freddie told me on the last homestand, when this eye difficulty popped up, his eyes were so dry that one of his contacts actually broke inside his eye. He had to go dig it out before first pitch. Eye drops, steroid eye drops, to try to alleviate the discomfort. And even tonight, he's made an adjustment. In his second at bat, he wore glasses. He's not wearing them now while hitting. Didn't wear them the first time he was up. So you're right, Joe. He is searching for an answer.
See what Lincecum does here. Runners will be moving. Got to make sure he goes to the plate. Don't get picked off. But what does he have confidence in right now with arguably the toughest RBI guy at the plate outside of Justin Upton presently? What's he going to throw Freddie?
Better be something that moves.
Line drive, right field, base hit. Pence will play it on a second hop. Laird around third. He's going to score, and the game's tied at 1. Freddie Freeman with a rope to right drives in his 18th run, and the Braves cash in a leadoff walk to tie the game at 1 apiece.
This swing and base hit looked like a slider, didn't there? Or maybe a cutter, didn't have much on it. But I think we'll find out after the game that this was a more difficult hit than it looked like because of the battle he was waging with his contacts.
Yeah, no doubt that ball did not move. It hung over the middle of the plate, and heady hitting again, because you just, that short swing and that ability, even struggling to see pitches. You could see him look really bad on some breaking balls and balls in the dirt he was attacking. That ball was left up by Tim.
Freddie's 5th hit this year with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. A single ties the game, and Upton's up. And he didn't get it. Strike 1. Justin has walked, stolen second, and has struck out. Sanchez is going to have to visit the whirlpool after the game. He is getting beat up behind the plate. Two balls and a strike. That was close to one of those north-south pitches you were talking about earlier in regards to the strike zone.
Yeah, Tim's only flaws in with his mechanics is sometimes he doesn't finish. He throws uphill. He throws a lot of balls up. He doesn't get down through the pitch.
Line drive to left. Morse coming on. It hangs up for him, and he makes the play to retire the side. Freddie Freeman ties the game with an RBI hit with 2 outs. Laird scores the Braves' first run, and we go to the 6th.
Having issues with his dry eyes. He went through about 3 to 4 different pair of glasses last year, including just regular, seemingly reading glasses. Made him look like a hipster. These are a little bit more sporty, but the issue Freddie Freeman has with glasses at the plate is the nose piece. He has a hard time with his peripheral vision seeing past that nose piece at the plate, which is why he's opted for contacts and rarely wears the glasses at the dish.
Thank you, Tom. And again, talking with Freddie, the most frustrating thing about this vision issue is that it's popped up here in the last couple of years. He's never had a problem until recently as a professional baseball player. Tough enough to hit when you can see the ball. It's almost miraculous he was able to make contact to tie the game with the issues he's having tonight.
Well, it's rare you see a guy deal with it, yet alone 3 or 4 on the same team.
Minor handles a comebacker from Buster Posey. There's out number 1 in the 6th.
We've had McCann go through it. Now B.J. Upton getting some prescription glasses. Talk about Ugla, his eye surgery, and some of the things. You know, one would think, well, maybe it's all the pollen we have here and all the allergies. And
goodness, yes.
But it's part of a hitter's nightmare. You know, I think the equivalent, well, you got to be able to see and have depth perception to play this game. We all know that. But as a pitcher, I'm trying to think of what would be the equivalent to a hitter's eyes. And it might be just the fact that, you know, whether it's a blister on your finger, the ability to do something so finite that you have to have that working.
Cold day, can't feel the ball,
yeah.
Maybe. As Michael Morse hits. Drives another one deep to right. Hayward on the run at the track, at the wall, leaping try. Did he get it? No, he didn't. It's a home run for Morse the other way. Great try by Hayward to climb the fence. But Michael Morse has hit his 7th homer, and the Giants are back in front.
Morse has battled some injuries the last couple of years after he left Washington. And you might remember earlier tonight, his first time up, he backed Jason up to the warning track in right field.
So the Giants with 2 solo homers now. They've homered in 9 straight games as a team. They've hit 36 of them as a club.
That's where strength comes in. I don't think that was his game plan to go the other way. I think he just swung at a fastball, caught it a little late. He's strong enough to hit it to right field. The wind's blowing to right field a little bit. Got in a nice little jet stream and home.
Now Sandoval lines one to deep left. And Justin Upton is there. He reaches up on the warning track. And Sandoval is out number 2.
I can say that's the one good thing about this ballpark. It plays fair. The old ballpark down the line, that would have been gone 100% of the time. It almost seemed like the tunnels down left and right field sucked the ball out of the field down the lines. Here, you still got to be able to be pretty strong. There's some favorable spots, but it's a very fair baseball field.
Yeah, we usually think about balls that stay in the park. Playing Cincinnati, you say, oh, well, that would have been out in Cincinnati. Well, that would have been out in Philadelphia. I'm not so sure that would have been a home run in San Francisco.
Correct. No way. Big high wall.
Yeah.
Sanchez skies one to center. B.J. Upton surrounds it and makes the play. And that retires the side. Michael Morse has 2 hits. His 2nd left the ballpark, and the Giants are back in front. Proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. Mac Coney and the gang got us home safe and sound early this morning from our trip down to Miami. And so far we've got a tight ball game in game 1 of the homestand, as you'll see on our Blimpie game summary.
Pagan with a leadoff homer to start the game. Freddie Freeman with an RBI single in the 5th to tie it, but Michael Morse just untied it real quickly there in the top of the 6th. First time out for Mike Minor, and in between the homers he's pitched real well.
He has. He's settled in, and certainly 6 innings in the book.
Line drive by Chris Johnson to center. 1 pitch and 1 out for Tim Lincecum, who has once again gone 5 innings against the Braves. He has never pitched fewer than 5 innings in a game against Atlanta in his big league career. And now he's been staked to a 2-1 lead.
Well, his trends this year are going in the wrong way, but he's having a good game tonight. He hasn't gotten recorded an out, I don't believe, in the 7th inning all year. So getting to 6 is one of those things every pitcher wants to do, but pitching beyond that is what Tim wants to do.
Second pitch is bounced to Crawford. 360 spin and a beautiful play. 2 out.
Telling you, that guy's pretty good. You may not know a whole lot about Brandon Crawford, but he can play at shortstop.
He had a first inning bobble with a couple of runners on for the Braves, but recovered to get Chris Johnson. Now he takes care of Anderson Simmons.
Bruce Bochy said a couple of years ago about Crawford, he said, you know, if he'll spend as much time working on his hitting as he does his hair, he said, I think he's going to be a good player. Bruce is a great guy.
It should be an automatic take. But you never know anymore.
Wasn't close enough to force Pena to decide. 1 ball, no strikes. Romero's 0 for 2. He's flied to left and flied to right.
When you got 2 outs on 2 pitches to start an inning, did you immediately lay one in there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so rare to get 3 pitches to get a team to swing at 3 pitches. It's the unwritten rule. You know, on the flip side, a guy's sitting there thinking, well, he's going to lay it in there. I might as well try and attack it. But it's just something that you don't want to give your pitcher that little rest. I mean, he just came off the 6th inning and 2 pitches within 25 seconds, and it's 2 outs. So you got to work the count a little bit.
And Pena's doing that here. 3 balls and a strike now. Phillies are beating Washington 3-2 in the 8th inning. Marlins 2-0 over the Dodgers in the home 7th. Rockies 4-1 over the Mets in the 2nd in Denver. And Pena's aboard with a 2-out walk.
Well, that's what you don't want to do.
Yeah, that would be a fine in kangaroo court. And what I mean by that, your teammates, when you got 2 outs and 2 pitches and then you walk the next batter, you're going to have to pay a little fine. All in good fun.
Steven Strasburg and Cliff Lee, the pitchers in Philadelphia tonight. Zach Wheeler's going for the Mets in Colorado. Here's Laird. Gerald walked and scored the lone Braves run. That was an inning ago.
You know, nobody wants to give Colorado any credit outside of Coors Field. Maybe we're fast approaching that same regard for the Miami Marlins outside of their home ballpark. Remains to be seen if they're able to make this good work on the road.
Liner over short by Laird. Around second, heading for third is Pena. He'll make it without a throw. The first 2 pitches of the inning were great for Lincecum, but plenty of trouble since. As the Braves have them first and third with 2 outs, the pitcher spot is due next, and it looks like Mike Minor will be called back here.
Inner third, fought it off again.
I think later in the year, Mike Minor stays in this game and hits in the bottom of the 6th. But given the factor that he is coming off of his first start after rehabbing, Freddie says that's enough, and we got a chance to score a run or 2.
And Ryan Doumit grabs the bat. He'll pinch hit. So Tom Hart, Mike Minor through after 6 innings in his season debut.
Yeah, and obviously they wanted him to stick around a little bit longer, but this is the pivotal point in the ball game. Freddie Gonzalez said the goal for Mike Minor today was to keep him between 85 and 100 pitches. That would have been the 6th or 7th innings. So all in all, a decent outing for Minor and a run scoring opportunity for the Braves.
And the other important point is, as great as the Braves bullpen, especially at the end, has been, you do not want to get in the late innings against this San Francisco club trailing. So if you have a chance to score here, you better take your crack, because their bullpen gives up almost nothing.
Well, I think you got to think about your offense, not so much about Mike in this situation. I don't think there's any question if Lincecum had gotten the 3rd out of the inning quickly, Mike would have been right back out there. But the Braves' difficulty in scoring runs, you got a chance here to tie it up again. If not, do a little bit better. You got to take advantage of every opportunity.
Doumit to pinch hit.
4 for 12 in his career against Lincecum.
And that caught a corner for a called strike.
That looked like a generous call there.
Well, that side of the plate has been where the calls are you're going to get them. So each catcher and each pitcher knows really quickly where to go if they want to stretch the strike zone a little bit.
Fly ball center. Pagan to his left. He'll get there, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit. 2 left for the Braves in the 6th inning. On we go to the 7th. Lincecum and the Giants lead by a run. Friday night fireworks night at Turner Field. That will follow the Braves and Giants game 1. The Giants have lit up a couple of bottle rockets tonight. Homers by Pagan and Morse have accounted for the only 2 runs for the Giants, and that's a big part of their offense, as you'll see on our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
This goes to what we were talking about in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Braves, so much of their offense is generated by homers, as you see, the highest rate of runs coming from home runs by anybody. And so when you get that first and third opportunity and a chance to tie it with the pitcher spot up, you got to take your chances.
This is Ian Thomas. He'll pitch in back-to-back games for the Braves. Things didn't go well for him last night. 3rd of an inning, a couple of hits and a couple of runs. In relief of Irvin Santana. And he'll have the bottom part of the Giants order in the 7th. Hicks, Crawford, and then Tim Lincecum is scheduled.
Ian picked up a win in a 3rd of an inning right before the road trip against Cincinnati. Last night he pitched a 3rd of an inning and took his first loss.
Yeah, ideally you really want your bullpen to not get a ton of decisions, although that's how San Francisco's in first place. They're 9-2 with a low ERA.
So we'll see how far the Giants ride Lincecum tonight, as Thomas readies for Brandon Hicks. Hicks has singled and struck out. And he takes a bold strike.
And that's a great way to start with that good changeup of his.
It's wide of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yes, he did.
That he did. 1 ball, 2 strikes now for Hicks.
Brandon's getting a chance to play a lot because of the injury to Marco Scutaro, who has not played at all this season. He was placed on the disabled list before the season started with a lower back strain. So the fact that they're 17-11, that they're strength of their ball club. The starting pitching has not been up to snuff just yet, and they have not had Scudero. I'd say they've done pretty well.
And playing in a division, guys, that all the baseball experts predicted the Dodgers were going to walk away and win in a cakewalk with their $200 million payroll.
Well, what's interesting there is I hope people don't expect the Dodgers are in that position where they can run off of 42-8 like they did last year, but they're dealing with their share of injuries and too many outfielders. So there's great decisions and tough problems to have in the game, but when you've got 4 guys that want to play and don't know who's going to play on a regular basis, it can add to a frustration. But Don Mattingly's been through the ringer last year. I don't think there's anything that's going to surprise them this year, but they definitely have to get Clayton Kershaw back in their rotation.
Yeah.
And Ethier, Kemp, Puig, and Carl Crawford, the 4 Dodger outfielders vying for time in Los Angeles. Dodgers are in Miami and getting shut out tonight, 3-0. Josh Beckett started for the Dodgers, Tom Kohler for the Marlins. And nowhere near for Ian Thomas. Hicks with a leadoff walk in the 7th inning.
That happened a couple of times last night. The ball almost went to the backstop.
Well, the uniqueness for Ian Thomas is that he uses his delivery. He's got a closed delivery, and he hides the ball pretty well. But it's all about the front shoulder and the turn. And if everything catches up, that deception is hard for the hitter to see the ball. But throwing the ball where you want to can also be a complicated thing because all those parts have to be moving in the right direction, if that makes sense. So when he's going good, he's got that changeup, arm speed. He's got the curveball, depth. But the fastball command's got to be there as well.
And now Laird out for a visit quickly. 1 ball, no strikes for Brandon Crawford.
It's like they'll use a pinch hitter for Lincecum too. I'll let you introduce him, Chip.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, the guy that wants to be the play-by-play guy.
No, I didn't say
once. His first opportunity. How about that?
I didn't say once.
Ehire Adrianza is the man on deck out of Miranda, Venezuela. Boy, the going gets tough.
I would have just gone with the last name. So you're a better man than I am.
2-0 the count for Crawford. And low. 3-0. Back-to-back walks begins the San Francisco 7th, and Adrianza will be announced. Let's see if the Giants bunt with him with 2 on and nobody out.
When you're missing, you don't get the benefit of anything close. And that 4th pitch was close, but Joe Wesch, the veteran umpire, not the benefit of the doubt.
So Adrianza is going to be the hitter. He's a rookie for the Giants, 24 years old, a non-drafted free agent signed way back in 2006. Got his first taste of the big leagues last year, played in 9 games for the Giants.
2 for 9 as a pinch hitter, but I'm guessing he's up there to bunt.
Was, but it's foul. John, you should have pronounced his name. You'd had a better shot. I messed it up. It's Ehire Adrianza.
I didn't want to say anything. I was just going to wait till after the game was over.
I would not. I'm not sure I would have gone with Ehire if I was going to take a shot at it.
I would have gone with he higher. That's why I don't do these things. Obviously, I wouldn't have, but
no balls and a strike. There's the bunt. And Chris Johnson will make the peg to first. Sacrifice works. Second and third, one out. Now the top of the order.
that's the one play where it doesn't matter how hard you hit the bunt, as long as it's in third base. They don't have the wheel play on. It's the perfect sacrifice.
Make him field it.
That'll be the last pitch of the game for Ian Thomas. Back-to-back struggles for the Braves rookie left-hander. He will give way to Anthony Vivaro, who is loosening in the Braves bullpen. Angel Pagan is the man coming up for the Giants. It's 2-1 game. After two back-to-back walks to start the seventh, a sacrifice bunt is our Home Depot tool from the dugout.
We were talking about the bunting and using the bat just to catch the baseball.
That's exactly right. And in the National League, you're going to see it a lot more in the American League. You almost never see it there. And the strategy here in the National League is put the runners in position to score a run per inning, or maybe two, instead of staying away from the three-run homer in the big inning, which they seem to do a little bit more in the American League.
You see this a lot in NFL. You see the wide receivers with their football pants above their knees. That might be a first for me in baseball.
Joe, praying mantises are known for their +4s.
Oh, okay.
As Anthony Vivaro's on to pitch, he could use a strikeout here. Angel Pagan's the hitter. He's already homered tonight. Infield in for Atlanta, with the Giants looking to add to a 2-1 lead.
This
Something
is
off speed.
John, I know you see a lot of baseball. You've been watching a lot of teams, but there are the numbers for Anthony so far. The Braves have been getting great work from Jordan Walden in the 8th inning. He has been lights out. Kimbrel is beginning to get back into his groove, but this gap has been a problem. It's not the same guy that has the problem. It might be a different guy every night, but the 6th and 7th innings have been problematic at times for the bullpen.
Well, and part of the hard challenges of a bullpen is when your starting staff's going pretty good, those guys don't get out there on a regular basis. And so in a perfect world, how do you balance that? And sometimes you go gaps of time without getting your stuff where you want to when you come into a situation like this.
Up and into Pagan. That'll back him off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul And Pagan's still alive. And Stefano, Posey in the hole. When the Braves bat in the 7th inning, they'll have the top of their order. Tim Lincecum has been pinch hit for. Jeremy Affeldt was the man up and throwing in the Giants bullpen. Hicks at third, Crawford at second. 2-1 Giants on 2 solo homers.
Got ahead in the count. Wasted one up and in to kind of get him off the plate. And then missed badly with that pitch. This is where Anthony needs to make a good pitch, maybe with something off speed running away from him, so he get a guy to hit one off the end of the bat right to Andrelton Simmons. Or swing and miss.
Tipped and caught, and there's the strikeout.
That works.
Boy, first batter faced is such a huge stat for guys like Bavaro, and he gets his first man here.
Climbs the ladder, goes back in. Looked too good to the hitter. Of course, foul tips it.
Now it's up to Pence. Pence has a single in 3 trips. They are still very aggressive early in the count tonight. Strike 1.
Especially him. He's swinging the bat great. He's got a 10-game hitting streak working. And using him up in the front of the lineup too.
Is there anything to him wanting to feel his top hand without a batting glove? He's only got the 1 glove on his bottom hand.
Could be something to that.
I know he's not the most prototypical
No.
unorthodox practice routine.
He's got 1 sleeve working, and that's not even his throwing arm.
One ball, 1 strike. Laird a good stop. It's 2-1.
And we don't see many guys choke up, and is the purpose of that because the balance of the bat, like people would say, why don't you just get a shorter bat? You don't have to choke up, but the balance of the bat and control of the bat for him feels better when he's got it in this position.
Freddie Freeman as well.
Yeah.
Freddie chokes up all the time, so it just feels better in his hand there.
He was late. If Anthony can get out of this, what a job that would be. And it would shift momentum back in the Braves dugout. He's a strike away from sending us to the stretch. 2-1 Giants. 2-2 count for Pence.
See, to me, that's the amazing thing that Hunter Pence does. He's choked up on the bat, so he's made his bat shorter, but his arms and the ability to get to the outside part of the plate. See, I would be more tempted to always go out there because you would think that would be harder for him to do. Anything coming in, his short, quick stroke he can get to. So that was a great defensive swing on a very good pitch.
Oh, we've seen him slash that ball to right field so many times, go down the first base line. He's got that open stance, which gives him a little better plate coverage away because that back foot's so close to the inside line.
Now a full count. Pence came to the Giants from the Phillies on the trading deadline in 2012. They signed him to a 5-year contract extension last September.
Got Posey on deck, base open. I don't think I would give in here anyway. I'd make him hit my pitch, something off the plate a little.
He did. What a job by Vivaro. Second and third with one out. He strikes out Pagan. He strikes out Pence. We stretch down a run, and that's your Delta Airlines on deck trio coming up for the Braves. Fly ball belted deep left by Pagan.
Well, this will definitely test the emotions and patience of a pitcher.
Strike three call. Mike Minor settling in. He's gotten some help from his defense. Line drive right field base hit. Laird around third. He's going to score, and the game's tied at 1. Sadly, though, Michael Morse has hit a home run for the Giants. That came in the top of the 6th inning. They now enjoy a 2-1 lead as the Braves come up in the home 7th with the top of their order. Hayward, Upton, and Freddie Freeman, the hitters. Before we tell you about the new Giants pitcher, let's revisit our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Name the only current National League right-handed pitcher. That's the key, with more career strikeouts and a lower career earned run average than Tim Hudson.
Just to spread it out again, I'll say A.J. Burnett.
You're going to stay with Tim Hudson?
Yeah, I have to.
I'm going to stay with Tim Hudson. I'm going to say Adam Wainwright, just to spread it out. He pitched today for the Cardinals and lost. The answer is Tim Hudson.
I'm done for the year, boys. No more guessing.
Already 200+ wins. He's closing in on 2,000 strikeouts. And Tim was with us earlier tonight in the 3rd inning. Had a great visit. Hayward versus Jeremy Affeldt in the Atlanta 7th.
I wanted to ask Tim, but didn't get around to it. When San Francisco will feel the wrath of the cagey veteran and his little tricks up his sleeve, the little pranks,
the practical jokes.
Master at it.
Hayward, ground ball, right side and through. Jason's 3rd hit against a left-handed pitcher this year, and his 3rd hit tonight.
And this guy's so tough on lefties. Affeldt, as a general rule, throws in the low 90s with a big curveball and a split. He missed some games with a strained knee, and he had been wearing a knee brace, and then the last game of spring training he wasn't wearing his knee brace, and he caught his spike and re-injured it, and as a result missed 14 games.
So the tying runs aboard for the Braves. Here's B.J. Upton. Braves center fielder tonight is 0 for 3. And he showed bunt and took a strike.
There was the big hook, and BJ was going to move him up with a bunt, but gave up on that big hook, and it dropped in there.
If the Braves can come back against the Giants bullpen, that would be a big feather in their cap. As Upton punted through that ball, it's 0-2. Over the last 6 games, the Giants bullpen has given up just 5 hits, including Hayward's single. Their pen leads the majors with 9 wins. They're second with a 2.05 ERA. And Affeldt, the first man they'll face tonight. Lincecum went 6 innings of 1-run baseball. And now Upton swings and misses and strikes out. 2 bunt attempts and then a wild swing and a miss. 1 away in the 7th.
Well, you said it, Joe. He's a nasty left-hander. Doesn't matter which side of the plate, but when you can't get the bunt down, you're subject to a 2-strike curveball that we saw in the dirt.
Here's Freddie. A 2-out run scoring hit in the 5th brought home Gerald Laird. And in his 4th time up, no glasses. That painted the corner. 0-2. Nice stop by Sanchez.
It was a good stop. Affeldt's effectiveness against left-handers is pretty apparent because his 90-91 fastball keeps you honest. That's what he was trying to do there to Freddie ahead in the count 1-2 to set up perhaps the breaking ball away. It's a good curveball and it's a hard curveball, and left-handers just don't see many left-handed curveballs.
I agree, especially coming out of the pen with the kind of stuff he has. So it's hard to track when the ball gets on you quick and has that quick break.
That was tipped and caught, and Affeldt strikes out Freddie Freeman. That's out number 2. But don't think of this guy, fellas, as just a left-handed specialist against left-handed hitters. He's worn out righties too.
Yep.
Including Upton's strikeout. They're 1 for 15 now against him. He's trying to navigate his way through the top 4 hitters in the lineup. And actually it'll be the top 3 because Bruce Bochy's not going to let him face Justin Upton. And there's a reason for that. Upton's 3 for 5 against him with a homer. So Affeldt, with a couple of strikeouts, leaves with the tying run aboard for Atlanta in the 7th.
Atlanta Braves Baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
Big Braves crowd in Atlanta, hoping to even the score here in the home seventh. It's a 2-1 game. Don't miss Kool and the Gang's post-game concert here tomorrow night. It's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta. The post-game concert is free, and it's one you won't want to miss. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show for just $20, and you can get them online at Braves.com tonight.
And as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. We're men of our word. There you have it.
More. There's the photo. Someone, a pretty girl, got in there and photo bombed him. No way he was with her, right?
Here he is. He's way out over his skis. Here's Santiago Casilla, 33 years old, out of Juan Barron of the Dominican Republic.
Throws pretty firm with his fastball, slider. And as Chip said, they can bring some arms out of the pen, and a slew of them.
Got to make this guy throw strikes. He has a tendency to be a little off at times control-wise.
And Upton has had good luck in his career against Casilla. Told you the numbers he had against Affeldt, the left-handed pitcher. Well, against Santiago, Justin Upton is 4 for 7 with a home run.
Well, if he gets another pitch like that, he's going to be 5 for 8 with a 2-run homer, because that slider absolutely spun over the middle of the plate.
Casilla, an important part of this Giants bullpen. He's been signed to a multi-year contract. He's through the 2015 season. A club or vesting option for 2016. For the veteran right-hander.
Since the beginning of last season, he has the 5th best ERA in the National League among relievers, with at least 60 innings pitched.
And he's quickly ahead of Upton here, 0-2. Hayward at first, 2 out.
Sanchez has done a good job back there tonight.
He's calling for a slider down, breaking ball down. He got it down.
He looks like he's got a small glove. I don't know if it's because of that two-tone color, but for a catcher's glove, it looks rather small.
Downstairs. 2-2.
He didn't know if he had that one or not.
Oh, for a fastball in. This hits off the top of the plate. He just kind of, yep, got it. Had it all the way.
Right in the web.
Two and 2 for Upton. And now a full count. Chris Johnson waits on deck next.
Sometimes a guy who may have a reputation of a little lack of command, it may not result in a lot of walks, but it may be something like this. Key situation in a ball game, he gets ahead in the count, and all of a sudden he can't make a pitch that he needs to, and is forced to throw Justin a better pitch.
Well, let's hope the statistics of the Braves having the best 3-2 count average in the National League come into play right here.
Hayward will be off with the pitch. There he goes. And it's a roller foul. Casilla first got to the big leagues in 2004 with Oakland. He pitched under the name of Jairo Garcia in his first 5 years professionally. He's been with the Giants at the big league level since 2010.
Hiro or E-Hire?
You have to ask John. 3-2 again for Justin Upton. Runner goes, and the pitch just missed the corner. Might have been so wild he didn't get the benefit of that close call. And the Braves in business with 2 out.
PNC tracks. Where was it? Low. Close to that bottom line of the strike zone, but low. Oh, eagle-eyed Joe West. Right on it.
Chris Johnson's 1 for 4 against Casilla in his career and 0 for 3 tonight against Tim Lincecum. Big hole right side of the infield. Look at where Hicks is playing at second base. Roller toward third, foul ball. With Hicks playing so far up the middle, they've moved Buster Posey well off the line at first base, trying to fill up that hole between first and second. But Joe, we've seen Chris go that way hundreds of times.
This is a defensive alignment we've seen from several clubs, with the first baseman moving way over toward the hole. And I understand that in some ways, but I'm surprised the second baseman is pinched up the middle like that, the way Chris can go to right field.
Big lead at second for Hayward, who represents the tying run, and Johnson is behind now, 0-2.
Well, he got 0-2 on Justin Upton and overthrew 3 pitches in a row to get to a 3-2 count. See how he attacks this 0-2 situation.
He's throwing hard. The fastball is at 95.
Now the 0-2. What a stop.
Golly.
Just get way out in front of himself on the slider, not trusting the release point and trusting that it's going to break. Trying to make that pitch do more than he want to sometimes as a reliever, with the adrenaline of not only your fastball, but you've got to trust that you don't have to do that to make those kind of pitches to get him out.
The product of a fear of hanging one.
Yeah, there's
trying to overthrow it.
I thought the first one he threw to Justin that didn't break has caused him to be a little bit more firm on the break, to say, I'm going to make it break now.
Now it's 1-2 for Chris. And he swings and misses, and that'll retire the side. Giants get 3 outs on 3 strikeouts by Affeldt and Casilla, and we head to the 8th.
This copy
games being played in San Francisco.
Yeah. It's a beautiful night here.
In every respect but the score, where the Giants lead 2-1 after 7. Come on out and watch the Braves take on the St. Louis Cardinals. That series presented by Corona. Cinco de Mayo through Cinco de Seventhos, as my dad would say. Be sure to check out our ticket specials like Sport Clips $8 Chop Mondays, Coca-Cola 2 for $30 Tuesdays, and new for 2014, get an outfield seat plus a $5 Taco Mac gift card for only $15 every Wednesday. Log on to Braves.com/tickets for more information.
Or they just could be confused because historically everyone knows why San Francisco is the coldest stadium in all of baseball. Well, because there's a giant fan in every seat. Fan, you know, air conditioning fan, kind of fan.
Hear that?
Blows the cold air.
Did you hear that?
My headset knows something.
Line drive by Buster Posey, just foul into the right field corner. It's 0-1. We've installed a new cricket cam or cricket mic when the jokes start flying.
Well, there's a good chance it's going to break before the season's over.
Jordan Walden, has said earlier, has been really outstanding. 12 games, hasn't given up much of anything, especially in his last 4 or 5 appearances. Last 4 times out, 4 innings, a 1-hit shutout ball with a walk and 6 strikeouts.
He's got Posey behind 0-2.
When his command is on, he's virtually tough to hit because of the deception of what he's doing on the mound. Well documented, jumping towards the hitter, but 3 solid pitches.
I was talking to Gerald Laird about it just the other day down in Miami, about how with Jordan's size and that jump, by the time he lets go of the baseball, what do you think? 53 feet?
At least.
Maybe?
At least. Being that the height, not only whether he jumped or not, his length's going to be longer anyways, but you know, they tell you as a hitter you got to pick up the release point. Well, what are you picking up there? You know, you're seeing the body coming almost as a crow hop to the mound.
It's funny, that's what I said the other day. It's like he comes up the back of the mound and takes a crow hop to the plate.
How about that swing by Posey? That is a foul ball. Freeman tried to steal it out for Walden.
Well, it defies gravity a little bit, or at least something you wouldn't teach. The double hit and then the jump in the air.
His arm's coming forward and he's still in the air with both feet.
Speaking of crickets, could you imagine this guy playing that sport with a running start?
Very nice, yeah. I got a chance to see a lot of cricket early in the year, going over to Australia for the opener. Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Buster Posey. Posey, a terrific talent, already off to a great start in his major league career. He's a 2-time All-Star, 2012 MVP, a batting title that year, comeback player of the year, rookie of the year, Golden Spikes Award winner as an amateur player, and beginning his 4th full major league season. Bounce to second for the first out. Pena retires Posey. The only players to win a league MVP, batting title, and World Series in the same season: Buster Posey, Frank Robinson, Dick Groat, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Stan Musial, and Joe DiMaggio.
It's good company, I'd say. John, we've got a replay we're going to look at in between pitches here to try to determine or guesstimate where he lets go of the baseball relative to, say, where the pitching rubber is. How far out in front does he let this is he out in front. So his stride's 6 or 7 feet, would you say, and his hands out in front of that.
It's amazing every time I see it.
Comebacker. Morse will be out number 2.
So we're talking 52, 53 feet, wouldn't you? I mean, that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's throwing 98.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it'd be one thing. You know, Chris Young's 6'10". Deception, you'd think he would throw real hard. He does, 85, 87 miles an hour. But the hitter imagines at 6'10" where he's striding and where he's throwing, but he doesn't have the velocity this guy has.
No.
And he doesn't have the stuff that he has.
Here's Sandoval. Kung Fu Panda is 0 for 3.
I know you guys opened the season, and it wasn't a fair valuation of the Milwaukee Brewers, but they have not slowed down a bit.
They're good.
They won again today, 2-0.
They're good. They've got solid starting pitching.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Sandoval rips one to left. And that one got lost by Upton in the lights, I guess. Sandoval's at first with 2 outs.
That looked like it was about to be a face ball. Well, it may have hit him. Did that get the glove or did it hit him in the chest? Both.
Yeah.
But he's all right. It's a helpless feeling.
That is a complaint we hear from time to time from outfielders. Not so much the lights, but when it's a low line drive like that, balls get lost in the LED scoreboards that are on the facades of the stadiums. Those high definition LED scoreboards. Won't know till after the game exactly where he lost that ball, but it's ruled a hit on a ball lost in the lights.
Yeah, it's not an LED hit. They call it a LIL hit.
Lost in the lights. I like it, Joe.
0-2 to Sanchez.
That's Twitter stuff.
Yeah, you can put that in your book somewhere if you want.
Might come in handy when you play-by-play career.
Yeah.
LOL, now LIL.
I just settle for a K right here of Sanchez. And it's fouled back. Count stays 0-2. In the Braves' 8th, Simmons, Pena, and Laird are scheduled. Don't know if Castillo will continue on for the Giants. We'll find out. There is the K. Walton takes care of Sanchez. And we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still a 2-1 Giants game.
By Georgia Power, the Home Depot, and Blimpie. Get more after 4 at Blimpie.
It's 2-1 Giants. Braves are running out of outs. They have 6 left. And we invite you to celebrate Sundays at the ballpark with your family. Take part in great activities like the Alumni Sunday autograph sessions. Kids run the bases and more. Save 38% off your tickets only at Braves.com/Sunday. Juan Perez takes over for Michael Morse in left field. Casilla continues in relief for the Giants. He'll face Andrelton Simmons to start the inning.
Braves will be aggressive on the first pitch.
Juan Bono strikes.
Kind of crossed me up too. I would have been looking for that get over slider.
Yeah.
That's high and tight. Ball 2. The official attendance tonight, 29,469. They'd like to see the Braves pick up a comeback win at home over the Giants. Mike Minor started for the Braves, went 6, gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, both on solo homers. Sharply hit off the chest of Sandoval. High throw, but in time to get Simmons. That had to smart. 1 out.
That's what you got to do. Make sure it doesn't get by you, and he took one right off the San Francisco. That will leave a mark.
But it's the first out of the inning. Here's Pena. 0 for 2 with a walk. That's fouled back and out of play. Interesting the way Sandoval made that play at third base. He is a natural left-handed thrower. He taught himself as a kid how to throw right-handed because he wanted to catch. So he added switch hitting to his ability to throw with either hand in the minor leagues, and also learned how to play first base and third base. And here he is in the big leagues with the Giants. He made a terrific play. Now Hicks with a backhand. Good play to his right to get Pena 2 out.
Brandon's a natural shortstop. He's got plenty of arm for second base, that's for sure. Made that play look easy.
And now Gerald Laird, if he can reach, Evan Gattis would pinch hit. Gattis stands on deck. Another good night for Gerald Laird tonight. He's walked and scored and has singled. And helped Mike Minor navigate his way through his first start of the season tonight.
With all their arms in their pen, the power arms that they have, their closer actually probably has one of the least amount of fastballs.
Yeah.
That's Sergio Romo. As Laird takes inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Can the Braves get the game to Gattis in the 8th? Evan certainly has had a flair for the dramatic as a pinch hitter this season for Atlanta. Popped up. That's over by the Braves dugout, and no play.
In anticipation of Gattis getting an opportunity, Craig Kimbrell is loosening up. He did not pitch at all in Miami.
Inside corner at the knees, a pitcher's pitch.
PNC pitch tracks anywhere close.
Yeah, I would have gone back in there too.
Gives it to you once, good chance he'll give it to you again. Especially if Joe sees any disgust on the hitter's face after the previous call.
Base is empty, 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes for Laird. Little pop, shallow right. On comes Pence, slowing now, and he'll get there to retire the side. We're going to send John out to the Braves live set. He'll be standing by for the post-game show. Joe and I will take you to the 9th with the score 2-1 Giants. For the Braves at Turner Field, the Giants in town for 2 more. Then the Cardinals are in town beginning on Cinco de Mayo. That Braves-Cardinals series is presented by Corona. Plenty of great ticket specials are available for you Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. For more information, go to Braves.com. 9th inning, 2-1 San Francisco. And Craig Kimbrell will get a chance to pitch for the Braves. It's been a while for Braves all-star closer.
Yeah, he last pitched in the 2nd game against Cincinnati last Saturday, so right at a week since he's been out there after the day off Monday and then not pitching in Miami. Those last 2 outings against Cincinnati, an inning each. He got a save in each of those 2 outings. Only 1 hit, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts.
So we'll see the age-old question of rest versus rust for a rested relief pitcher. And Kimbrell's got the bottom part of the Giants order coming up. It'll start with Brandon Hicks, who's reached base twice tonight. He has singled, walked, and struck out.
The Giants had Javier Lopez up last inning, but they have their closer Sergio Romo up now.
A foul tip, and that got a big piece of Gerald Laird.
Check swing. Oh, right on the inside of the knee. Mercy. Inside of his right knee.
May have gotten both of them. So a painful first strike for Gerald Laird as Hicks digs back in.
Hicks always been a good fastball hitter. Breaking stuff is what gives him problems. But that fastball went right by him. See if they try the breaker.
To center, and BJ is going to catch that. There's out number one. Braves pitching tonight has been outstanding. As you look at the Braves line score, you'll see a run, 7 hits, 10 men left on base, however, for the Braves.
Atlanta 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
So that continues to be a very troublesome statistic for the Braves. As Kimbrel misses to Brandon Crawford inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Brandon Belt grabs a bat. He'll hit for Casilla next. Into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is the perfect name for a slugging first baseman,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is. Truly is.
Crawford right on that pitch. Fouled it back. Miami wins at home again. They beat the Dodgers 6-3. Washington beat the Phillies at Citizens Bank 5-3. Colorado rolling over the Mets 7-1. Cubs beat the Cardinals. Milwaukee beat the Reds. Here it's 2-1 Giants, 1 out in the 9th.
Miami was tied with Philadelphia with a .500 record coming into play tonight, so they will break that tie with the Phillies. Phillies will be in last place.
I know it's only a month, but I don't want to see the Marlins anytime soon.
No.
They've handled the Braves down south. A much improved club. He went around, and Crawford is struck out. 2 outs in the 9th. Here's Belt.
Not a strike, except on the swing.
We talk so much, Joe, about extremes between home and road, day, night, things of that nature. Brandon Belt is an extreme hitter. He's hitting .315 on the road, .192 at home. 6 of his 7 homers have come on the road. He went 1 for 20 and 11 strikeouts on the last Giants homestand and has punched out in 13 of his last 23 at bats.
Yeah, there was some stat that I think it was Vogelsong's start at home where he had 11 swings and misses in his start. Coincidentally, so did Brandon Belt that day.
And I can't remember the exact statistic, but he had hit as many homers in the first week of the season for the Giants, something that was approaching Willie Mays hot.
Yeah, it was a great start.
But here he is again in a 2-strike count. And he's retired on 3 pitches. No rest for Kimbrel. Now we need no rest from the Braves offense. They need 1 to tie and 2 to win as we head to the home ninth. Game you expected to see from 2 first-place clubs tonight. It's 2-1 San Francisco in the weekend opener. More fun to follow tomorrow night. Here are your probable starters, brought to you by Chevron.
Julio Teheran right back out there with outstanding numbers. Actually should be a little better record-wise than 2-1, were it not for a couple of mishaps at the end of ball games when he had the lead. And Ryan Vogelsong, while he has really struggled at the beginning of this season, did pitch a real good ball game his last time out. So we'll see if he's able to maintain that tomorrow evening.
On to try to close the game is Sergio Romo, who is perfect, 7 for 7 in saves.
He's given up a couple of homers in his 11 innings, but otherwise he's pitched real well. 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, does not throw hard, kind of a low 3/4 delivery. High 80s, 88, 89. Real good slider and an outstanding changeup.
With the top of the order to follow the pitcher's spot, this is really the only place to use Evan Gattis. And that's leading off the 9th inning. So he'll bat for Kimbrel. Then Hayward, then B.J. Upton against Sergio Romo. Romo took over as the Giants closer in August of 2012 and has never looked back. He was an all-star last year. Held high strike gets the sequence started. Oh, 0-2.
Good sliders to start. Even looked like Evan was kind of looking for it there.
Sharply hit. Stabbed by Crawford. Throw to first in time. What a play.
Boy, he's turned in 3 gems tonight, including one that he bobbled earlier in the ball game and still had enough time and presence of mind to make a good throw. Fully extended right in the end of his glove and a good throw. What a play.
So Crawford took away a hit from Gaddis. Here's Hayward, who's 3 for 4 tonight. Jason with a 5-game hitting streak now has hit safely in 11 of his last 12. His average climbing now to 225. Hayward's 1 for 3 lifetime against Romo.
More than likely going to get a diet of sinkers off his fastball and the changeup as opposed to the slider.
Wow, that was a strike.
Yeah, it was kind of like the one call to strike on Laird last inning. That never had the plate. Holy smokes, Joe.
Instead of 2-0, it's 1-1. West missed that one. Roller towards second. Hicks in and up to first in time. 2-man out. And the fate of this game rests on the shoulders of B.J. Upton, who's 0 for 4 tonight. Lincecum and Minor, the pitchers of record. Romo trying to save it. B.J. 0 for 1 against Romo. Sharply hit. Foul ball.
Oh, boy.
Man, oh, man, that was a close call.
No argument from Doug DeCenzo at third base. Looked like it went over the bag, that angle.
Rob Drake with the call at third. And Carlos Tasca just wants to get an answer from Horacio Ramirez.
Yeah, it was fair, went over the bag. That's a fair ball.
So it should be Upton aboard. Instead, it's a 1-1 count. That is not a reviewable play. It's only fair or foul on balls hit to the outfield that are reviewable by major league managers, or in this case late in the game by the umpiring crew. And I'm with you. It looked like it went over the bag fair. 2 balls and a strike. Now the Braves down to their final strike.
BJ was looking for that slider, and I don't blame him, and he got a sinker that was called a strike.
Two and two. There's a base hit. Upton keeps it alive with a clean single. And now the Braves have the matchup they want. Freddie Freeman, with one swing of the bat, could win the game.
That was really a good at bat for BJ. Stay focused and hang in there after what looked like a ground ball. Should have been a double.
Freeman has the lone Braves RBI, a 5th inning single. It came with 2 outs. Crowd on its feet for Freeman versus Romo in the 9th. Slow roller to first. That is a foul ball.
Everything was away to Hayward, including that pitch that was about a foot off the plate outside that he called a strike. Doesn't want to make a mistake in the inner half to Freddie. You can almost look middle away and then adjust.
That's sunk out of sight. 0-2. Runner goes. The pitch outside. There'll be no throw. And now a single could score Upton.
That was a great move. Even on an 0-2 pitch. What amounts to really a pitch out here. The ball was so far outside. And there's Crawford standing at the bag. But Sanchez elected not to throw it. Mainly because BJ got such a good jump. Now a base hit can tie it.
The 1-2 for Freeman. Good eye, evens the count. Justin Upton waits next.
Change-ups, last couple of pitches. One that he swung and missed at, one that he took in the dirt. Still think they'll try to work him away. Target's being set up out there.
Nowhere near, and Romo a little frustrated.
He's trying hard not to make a mistake. You know, he's trying to be very fine. Sometimes that leads to a mistake when you're trying to be careful. He's got a base open. But that base could be occupied by the winning run if he puts him on.
Three balls, 2 strikes. He nearly hit it. Ball 4 inside. How about that at bat by Freeman? Behind 0-2, he coaxes a 2-out walk to keep the game alive.
And again, it's more about Romo trying to prevent a mistake by missing badly outside and then missing badly inside.
So here's another one of those frequent matchups. You talked about Upton and Lincecum locking horns a lot in the National League West. Same here for Upton and Sergio Romo. Justin is 1 for 10 lifetime against Sergio.
Well, he's nose in the dugout just watching what's taking place. He can almost guarantee look for slider the first pitch.
They're setting up outside. Here it comes. It was the slider, perfectly placed.
Yeah, it was maybe the best one he's thrown this inning.
Romo has yet to blow a save. This would be a perfect time for his first.
Yeah, especially with this guy up that's, as you see, tearing it up at home and has so many numbers at the top of all the major leagues in terms of home hitting.
Upton runs very well at second. He represents the tying run. Close call. Justin got it. 1-1.
I'm really frankly surprised they threw him a fastball, even showed him a fastball. That's his best one at 88. But right now he's got more confidence in his slider than anything else. Couldn't throw it to the left-handed hitting Freeman, but he can to the right-hander.
Oh, what a cut. A ball and 2 strikes.
Backed up the fastball with another one, trying to go to the outside corner, and he did, but he left it up.
So again, the Braves down to their final strike. And it's happened to 3 straight hitters. Outside, 2-2.
Huge pitch right here for Romo. If he goes to 3-2 and gives the runners a head start, I know Freddie's not the swiftest of Atlanta Braves, but he could score on a long double. The outfield all very deep, trying to cut off an extra base hit. I think the Braves would settle for a single and a tie game at the moment.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Popped up over by the Braves dugout. Belt gives chase, but won't have a play.
Boy, did he pulled that right out of Sanchez's glove too. I mean, that was such a late swing.
Oh boy, did he ever.
I'm telling you, look how far that ball was in, or back toward the catcher, I should say. How far it had traveled.
22 pitches for Romo in the Atlanta ninth.
Oh, there was one. Romo took his hat off of that one. He needed some air. Hey, got lucky here. A spinner right in the middle of the plate. Yikes. Justin like to have another crack at that one.
The Braves try to give him a finish in the ninth. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 count, 2-1 game.
Couple of fastballs away. Justin fouled one, laid off another, came back with sliders, 2 sliders, both fouled off. I'm guessing another fastball away. See if he can chase something off the plate.
They came inside and struck him out. Romo fired a fastball over the inside corner, and the Giants win game 1 by a final score of 2-1. Wow, what a ball game. Romo 8 for 8 saves, and he spoils Mike Minor's season debut in Atlanta tonight.